All right. So, welcome again. Kenneth, Iona, thanks for joining. And we'll just start off with a little kind of clearing process to get us in the right space to do the rest of today's reading. So just close your eyes, get yourself comfortable. Take a nice deep breath in. Yeah, just observe, is there any resistance? Ask yourself, is there any resistance to doing this work, to sitting down and going through the process of translating and reading, discussing, and translating another 9 paragraphs. Just observe if there is any resistance. Notice it. Breathe into it. Just to create some space, some light. You can imagine light flowing in to wherever you experience the resistance in your body. Every pore, every cell, every muscle. And now you're just going to clear on that, release it. So as you exhale, I release any resistance to this process, which I know is for my higher good, my highest good, to help me to heal my mind and just blow all of it away like a dark smoke, leaving you. Check in, notice any of that resistance is there, or if it's gone, and repeat once more. Release any resistance to this process because I know it's for my highest good. And I accept that. I accept that this process and this teaching is to heal my mind, to bring me back home into awareness of my own true awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, being directed by my own memory of that love. And it is my will, it is what I want. So there's no coercion, there's no feeling forced. So once again, just release any resistance to this process. And I accept fully that this is for my highest good and my healing. And so I am most willing and enthusiastic to participate in this. And then just feel the energy of that settle in to it. You feel a nice openness and expansiveness, maybe a bit of enthusiasm. Oh, actually, this is going to be enjoyable. It's going to be fun. So it is said, and so it is done. And then anchor that state in. Notice how you're feeling. So carry that with you into the session. Just watch the breath as we go to help you stay connected to it. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And yeah, did that change anything? Does seem to. I did it, this afternoon and studying. I was like, okay, there's a subtle change in state just from that few minutes. So. All right, so let's dive back into the lesson then. The problem and the answer, part 2. And we want to do it actually in the Word document, I think. So where are we? Chapter 11. There we go. Okay, so we've done number 6. So we did a little summary. Do you remember? Here's a test. Can you summarize it in a minute, just to recap? Pick up where we were.
When we stopped an hour and a half ago, I haven't thought about it since. It's just
Gone.
like completely gone.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
That can happen.
Yeah, I
That
know.
can happen. So,
I know. It's like a
shall I
dream.
help you out there? I'll give you a little summary. It's really so far what he's said is that there's only one problem, and that is separation, and there's only one answer, which is the Holy Spirit's or Remembrance of Oneness's answer to that separation, and that's the answer we need to learn to ask for and to listen to, and it can happen in specific ways. It's actually very practical. As long as we believe the problem is specific, then this oneness, remembrance of oneness, awareness of oneness, can help us and guide us in specific ways to solve the many problems that separation seems to have caused for us on this level. In fact, the answer is only one answer. That oneness is true, but it plays out in many ways, in many forms, in very helpful ways in our lives, so we can have a happy dream while we're waking up from the dream. So that's probably the executive summary of it. So that's where we're picking up, having done the first 6 paragraphs and learned that. So let's see what else Yeshua has for us this evening. Okay.
We did the little child of God. We did the humble extension. You do not understand your source.
Oh, okay. So we've actually done number 7. I thought we only got to number 6. Okay. So we've done that. So let's do number 8 then, shall we? Okay. So number 8, and you read the second one, and I'll just go straight to the translation.
Beautiful extension of perfect love. You are asking only for what I promised you. Do you believe I would deceive you? State of pure formless awareness is within you. Believe that the truth is in me, for I know it is in you.
Okay.
Extensions of pure formless awareness have nothing they do not share. Ask for truth of any extension of pure formless awareness, and you have asked it of me. Right. None of us.
Yeah.
Is that actually true? Ask it for truth of any son of God, and you have asked me.
Yeah. It has to be.
Doesn't always play out that way. Not one of us, but has the answer in him to give to anyone who asks it of him.
May not seem to be the case.
Wow.
The extensions of it was God's Son, so extensions of perfect love. Or maybe we should, okay, we'll be consistent. We'll keep it. Extensions of perfect love have nothing they do not share. So ask for truth of any Son of God, any extension of love, and you have asked it of me. Not one of us has the answer in him to give to anyone who asks it of him. So we all have the answer.
Why does it say not one of us then? Not one of us, but has the answer in him. Not one of us.
Yeah, but it's the but. You see, it's a double negative. Not one of us, but. I think that needs some translation.
Well, I understand it, but it just, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's confusing. So instead of not
Everyone
one of us,
has the
but
answer.
say everyone has the
Yeah,
answer. Let's be
yeah,
simple.
exactly. Everyone has the answer in him to give it
Yeah,
to anyone who asks it.
yeah,
Him.
yeah,
So if you're asked for love, you're just saying everyone's got it in him to give,
yeah.
but that doesn't show up in this world.
But it shows up if you want to see it. So even if someone is speaking nonsense and they're in the ego, you can still choose to see the truth in them. Even if they're not speaking it, even if they're unaware of it, you can still choose to see that it's there. So everyone has the answer in him to give to anyone who asks it of him. So what do you want to see in your brother? That's really the question.
So we always have the choice to see the love or the not
Yeah,
love.
yeah. Even if someone is behaving insanely and is clearly out of their right mind and is behaving not very nicely, which does happen quite frequently in this world, then you can still see, okay, but this is just the person's unawareness. They've denied love and they've believed in this idea of separation, which is now running the show and is directing these thoughts and words and actions. But underneath this, they do know the answer. Underneath this, they still know the truth. Hence, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. They're confused. He's saying, know not what they do. He's saying exactly what he said earlier. Look, you're confused,
Yeah.
and you don't know, and you must accept. Maybe as a addendum to the summary I gave, you must accept that you don't know what you're doing, and that you don't know how to perceive anything. You don't understand anything in order to undertake this course, because if you think you know, then you're going to resist these ideas. Say no, but that's not the way it is. This is the way it is. I know.
Yeah. The little you is saying, yeah, I know the answers. I know what I'm about.
Yeah. And he's saying, unless you're willing to question that and overturn it, course can't help you. Simple as it is, as powerful as it is, until you're ready and willing, which is, I suppose, why you've got the most powerful course in the world, and it's free. Anyone can just go online and check it out. But do people? No, they don't. It's still a very much a minority pursuit, because
It's a minority pursuit with
you
most
have
of the
to be
planet choosing to be ignorant.
and busy themselves with all kinds of other things
Things.
that ultimately don't matter at all, but seem to matter quite a lot in this world. So as I said, how you choose to spend your time it determines, what do you value? How you spend your
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
That's the determiner of what you value.
Exactly.
Even more so than money. It's money and time, but time is a um, we only have so much of it in this world.
It's
So
fine.
by allocating your time to something, you're saying, yeah, it's important to me. I value it, and I want to learn this.
You are asking
Okay.
only for what I promised you. Yep. So I recognize that I have it within me to ask only for what is mine
Hmm.
without fear of being deceived.
Hmm. If you ask someone to show you that, even if they're speaking foolishly, you can still choose to see that in them. This is the teaching. It doesn't matter what they're saying on the level of form and how they're behaving. They still have the answer within them, and that you can see that even if someone's behaving opposite to it. In fact, you must reinterpret the opposite, the egoic thoughts and behavior. You must interpret those as as a confirmation that oneness is true. That's what he's asking us to do. Okay, well, that's just a denial of oneness. So the denial of oneness becomes the confirmation that oneness is there and has been seemingly denied, you see.
Yeah.
So
See,
you can just reinterpret, whatever the ego is doing. Which is why, even though it doesn't play out like this on the level of form, if you went to someone and asked truth of them, a lot of people won't know. They go, well, I don't know. But he's asking us to, ask at a different level. Ask to see truly. Ask them to show truth to you, and ask that sincerely, and then they must show truth to you.
Yep.
Because that was your request.
Yep.
Even if they're behaving insanely,
Yeah.
you'll still interpret it as the truth. So okay. Summary of that. Can we get a little summary?
I ask only for the truth that will be given to me, for that is me, in me. And believe that everyone has the answer in him, even if that person is acting insanely.
Yeah, because if you ask sincerely, then you're saying, I want to see it, I want to see the truth.
That truth in you.
Yeah, and that's my intention, and so I am determined to see.
Stop deceiving me.
Yeah, exactly. So that what they're showing you is a deception.
Yep.
They're deceiving themselves, and they're trying to deceive you. And you're saying, no, I'm not going to stand for it. I'll still see only the truth. And then, what you do on the level of form, well, you see, it just depends the context. You can't say. You might say something to them, you might not. You might just let it go. You take guidance. But you still see the truth in them. So you come from that place of, yes, I see the truth in you, and I'm not deceived by the falsehood in you. And then you can only help to awaken them if you're in that state, and yourself ultimately, because that's what that's ultimately what you're doing. You're awakening yourself, and others, but the others you're not directly responsible for that because they have their own choice.
I'm not responsible for anybody else, but if they what I fear is spiritual loneliness. Is that ridiculous? But if we're doing this path and there's only 1% of people who are apparently doing this, oh great, am I going to go around like an alien?
No, because you'll see the truth in everyone. So even if people are speaking nonsense, they're in the ego, you still see that they are the love, and you connect, you can perceive them that way, and relate to them on in that way, which means that you're actually you feel like you're one with everyone. It doesn't mean on the level of form that you necessarily say to someone, oh, my holy brother, tell me the truth. I mean, because they'll go, what are you talking about? Are you mad? So it's the appropriate translation of this into so-called real life. How do you interact with people? How do you respond to people? And it'll also direct you in certain ways. So sometimes you need to make choices about who you spend your time with.
Yep.
That's okay. You see them as love, but they don't, they're confused and deluded, and they have no idea, and they're not necessarily particularly open to that love. So, then you go, okay, well, I still see you as love. You're just in heavy denial, but that's okay. I still bless you. Forgive them, Father, for not knowing what they do, but I don't have to spend a lot of time with you. I don't have to take, my precious time and energy and put it into this unappreciative source. As Jesus says, Yeshua said in the Bible, do not cast your pearls before swine.
In this form, time can seem a precious commodity. We can have this idea of acting out a happy dream and transcending time, but time with these people, particularly now, it seems limited.
Yeah. So if someone's not really serving your spiritual growth and unfoldment, and you don't feel like there's really anything you can do to help them, then okay, move on. Just you don't have to engage. No one is saying, you have to save everyone. This is not what Jesus is saying. You don't have to, because they, let's say you've got a special relationship with them, and because they family, whatever. It doesn't mean that you have to spend time with them. In fact, quite the opposite. The whole path of transcending specialness is that you're not bound by those special relationships anymore. You don't have to honor those and play the patterns that they seem to demand.
Yeah.
You can choose to say no. I'm not engaging in that.
Yeah.
And I do that in love and respect. I've got no grievance. This is the thing. It's discernment, because you can walk away from somewhere without a grievance, just saying, look, this isn't good for me. This relationship, this situation isn't really serving me, so I can walk away. But I do it without a grievance. I'm not holding a grudge, a grievance, none of that negative energy. I just do it because, like my spirit, my true awareness has come in and made an evaluation and said, no, this isn't serving me anymore. This isn't serving your spiritual growth and unfoldment. So so it's fine. You don't have to engage in it. It's not a path of having to self-flagellate. To go, okay, well, I've got to keep doing this because.
I'm glad I asked, because it can feel a bit sometimes like, where am I headed? Am I kind of zipping off on some distant runway into a glorious, I don't know, sunset where there's only 1% of the population could actually understand what the fucking hell's going on?
Well, you are going to be in the minority for sure, but you might find that it's a lot more than 1%. There's a lot more people, who are open and awakening at various levels. Not, maybe 1% non-dual, but probably even less than 1% understand, non-dual teaching or having exposure to it. But there's quite a large segment the population, particularly since you're in Findhorn, who are awakening in some way. They are on a journey. And so you can quite easily relate to people who are on a genuine awakening journey, because there'll be commonality.
I do.
And remember,
I do already. It just seems weird sometimes.
Remember what Osho said. I don't know if you ever listened to Lucy's post, but it was quite interesting. So what he was trying to get people into the idea of was, well, if you go on this path, you are going to be alone, because you are going within, and you're going into the oneness that the society is denied. So although, like, on a spiritual level, everyone's actually there, everyone's one there, it doesn't seem that way in this world.
No.
You're living in a world where people have denied this, and that's the mass psychosis we live in. But it's the belief in separation seems to run the show, and we live in denial of oneness. So what are your choices? And this isn't exactly a new thing. Jesus had to do it, Buddha had to do it, they all had to do it. They weren't in the majority, and they had to go against the grain of their social order and peer pressure and so on, and went, no, this is not correct, and we're going to stand up for a transcendent truth that transcends the limited beliefs of their society, which made them outliers. So you got to get used to being an outlier. You understand what an outlier means?
Yeah.
So you're an outlier in the society. That doesn't mean you can't engage in it. You're engaging it from the outlying perspective of the spirit, and bringing that back in to it in powerful, profound ways. That's how the society evolves.
I just feel like I need more guidance in actually how to acknowledge my life, instead of just doing what somebody else wants. Just always being the understanding one. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can.
It's okay. I can tell you, no, but that's what the session's for. So you can just use this to let that go, and find a place of peace. So you're being asked to let go of that, of all the ego's ways, and if so, that's a pattern. I mean, have you played out a pattern?
Yeah.
For years of you're the understanding one, you're the martyr,
Mm.
and so then that comes up to be healed.
Yeah. Or the one who asks too much and then is just no.
So that's arising, that's it's good, although it doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good, but
It's a pattern that needs to be brought into awareness and then released. And say, I'm not this. I'm the Son of God. I'm the extension of love itself, and I'm powerful. And I'm maybe just say that a couple of times. I am powerful.
I'm powerful. That has been a mantra, but I misunderstood it before. I thought I was seen as powerful. Saw myself as having that potential, but allowed it to be silenced, or it's safer. Yeah, it's just safer not to be, or to declare that power in any way.
Yeah, I think particularly in our society, women, they're not encouraged to claim their true power, are they?
No, there's always an answer that says somehow, no, not now, not appropriate, not you, not why are you bringing this up? Wow. And I know I've hidden from powerful positions, and I fear it because I fear that criticism. There's a lot of stuff that's coming up in this, the problem and the answer. That's good. It's bringing stuff up, and I need to learn how to hold my ground and not be pushed away.
Yeah, well, this is this is the learning. This teaching doesn't mean you're a doormat. In fact, quite the opposite. It means that you're powerful in the presence of love, and you stand in that truth. If someone doesn't want to acknowledge who you are, well, that's their problem. You are what you are. You are the Son of God. You are the extension of love. You are the light of the world, however you want to say it. And your job is to remain rooted in that awareness.
Yeah.
And live it, express it. And sometimes he does say, some relationships are not meant forever. They're there. Some are very casual. You meet someone and it's just a holy encounter for a few minutes. Sometimes you might have an interaction with someone for a few years, and then you have the lifetime, kind of partnerships, which are unusual. And he covers all of that in the course, and he says, some relationships don't last because both parties have learned what they need to learn at the time, and then they move apart. So on the level of form, there's flux and there's change, and situations change and relationships change and people change, and that's okay. It's part of the construct of time, and space. That nothing here lasts.
No.
The question is, did you learn from it? Did you really learn? Did you really learn your lesson, the eternal lesson of who you really are through that experience? Or do you need to repeat it in another relationship because you didn't really get it? And so then the lesson wasn't learned. So We need more, more relationship lessons with someone else.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do is say, I need to learn my lesson.
Yeah.
And if I've learned that, then the assignment's complete. Because in the end, what this is doing is taking us back to our source,
Yeah.
out of the dream, out of all special relationships. There are no, there are no relationships in heaven,
No.
all one. So, that's where you're going. So the only barometer really of a successful relationship is, did you learn more about who you really are through that relationship?
Yeah.
Did you manage to let go of a little bit more of the ego? And if you did, then it's valuable.
Yeah.
Whatever the outcome was on the level of form. And so it's a different way of thinking about it, as opposed to, oh no, the relationship's got to continue forever. No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's like, did you learn what you needed to learn? And if you have, then maybe the assignment's complete and you can move on with no grievance. You see, there's no grievance. You just go, okay, it's not serving me anymore, and that's fine. No, holding no grievances doesn't mean you don't have discernment and you don't say, okay, this isn't serving me. I can make a different decision. I can change. I can, do whatever on the level of form that needs to happen.
Is
In
there
fact,
another
it frees you to do that.
serving?
Sorry?
Is there another word for serving? Because as an ego sort of pinprick. Oh yeah, serving, as in it, someone or something being my servant.
Yeah. It's more like the situation is, serving you in terms of truly, maybe instead of serving, we could use the word awakening.
Awakening.
Is it awakening you or not? That's really the question.
I think that's better.
Truly serving or awakening. And awakening is, if something's giving you lessons and it's pushing all your buttons and you're having to really deal with your stuff, then that's awakening you, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the situation has a purpose. For as long as as you still have triggers, as long as you still have emotional charge, you could say, okay, well, this is serving me. I'm using this to awaken. But there might come a point where you go, okay, I get it. Yes, I understand the lesson, and I don't necessarily need to keep doing this. And you'll just learn. There'll be a point where you go, okay, enough. The Spirit guides you into the right decision. I mean, it sounds like you already did that with your previous family. You were just like, okay, enough. I'm done with this, and then you made another decision, and you moved out of that. So you've done it before.
I know.
So it's just it's knowing what's appropriate and not getting hijacked by the ego into.
But you were saying earlier, and I know that some of us have very, very, very high pain thresholds, and I do.
It takes a lot for you to.
It does. It takes a huge amount. But then the downside is that I think my emotional maturity just needs to need more and more and more learning. Just ditch it. It's not serving me. It's not awakening me. It's just fucking painful. So and I've had it. I feel I've just had enough of that painful emotional experience in this life. Enough.
Yeah. And you're quite entitled to make that decision.
Yeah.
And say, I don't have to suffer pain. It's the whole point. This Jesus says at some point, if someone is teaching you and he's promising to remove all pain and suffering, then you'd be unwise not to listen to him, because that's what he's promising. He's saying, this is a path where all pain and suffering, and the deepest pain, the pain that cuts most deeply, is not physical, it's emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's the pain that really gets you.
Yeah, I've experienced enormous physical pain. Enormous. Fuck, I have 5 children. I know about pain in the body.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not the same as the emotional. Not the same as the emotional pain.
No.
Because it kind of goes deeper. It cuts to the core of who you think you are. But that, that pain, the pain is the cracking of the shell of the ego. Just remember that. So of course it's, pain is like, oh, okay, the little self is, it's writhing away because it's been cracked. And that's part of the process of awakening. The shell has to be cracked for the awakening to happen. So you just have to remember that's what's happening, and it's not easy.
Okay.
But you carry on, because what else can you do?
No, it's still
You can't go back.
No.
You can only go forward and say, okay, so I'm willing to go forward. I'm willing to really listen. The guidance will tell you. The Holy Spirit's going to give you the guidance.
Okay.
For any specific situation or problem, if you get clear enough, you will have the guidance, and then you might go, oh, that's whoa, I'm not sure I can do that. But you got to listen. That guidance is what's really going to serve you. It might be quite dramatic, it might be radical, but there's something in your heart, and I can't say how but you just do. There's something that sits there and says, yeah, I know, this is right. I absolutely know, and I must honor that. If I don't listen to that voice, my deepest inner voice, then I'm lost. Then I've got no guidance system. I'm lost then. I'm not listening to that. What am I listening to then?
I have been there too. So yeah, it's amazing to actually ask for more lessons like that. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
See if we
9.
can, see if we can
Crack on.
finish this marathon.
Ask anything of the extension of perfect love, and its source will answer you. For true awareness is not deceived in its source. Is that Christ, true awareness?
Christ is the
awakened one.
Yeah, Christ is the self. Christ is the true self, we say.
Okay.
So it's like that higher self concept.
Yeah.
True self is not deceived in its source, and source is not deceived in it.
True self.
Yeah. So let's just do a bit of translation. Tell me, ask anything of perfect love, and
will answer you. For the true self is not deceived in its source.
Let's make it your true self.
Yeah.
And its source, not deceived. So, and his father is not deceived in him. Okay, so talking about him, him as the Christ.
Yeah.
And its source is not deceived in
her. In it.
No. And its source is not deceived in its
extension. No, in itself. Ask anything of the extension of perfect love and his source.
That's quite nice. In itself.
There's another his in the first line.
Okay. Yeah, that's but that refers to the extension as a person. So
are we doing with him?
translate it to her.
I think we started with hers. Yeah.
No. Her source will answer you. For your true self is not deceived.
In its
Meaning of
source.
extension. I'm not sure. Maybe we should translate. Because this extension of perfect love, the Son of God, capital,
That's what it is.
now refers to that as and then has him, and then he refers to the Christ as him, capital H. But if we're referring to any of it, and it's now the awareness of the higher self, then it should really be capitalized, I think. So extension of perfect love and its source. Okay, we are the extension as this one awareness, one extension of love and its source. I think that kind of works rather than his source. What do you think?
Yeah, good.
For your true self is not deceived in its source, and its source is not deceived in its self. And it's maybe, how about identity? It's not deceived in its identity. Gets tricky with these.
It does.
With these terms. We had one the other day. Were you part of it? Sure. It was quite. I think you were. It was like it was only 7 or 8 paragraphs, but it was Christ and Son of God and extension and.
Got to be sure about who you're referring to.
Yeah, exactly. Not deceived in its true identity. Okay, so yeah, we'll read it again from the top and just
ask
sure
any of the extension of perfect love, and its source will answer you. For your true identity, your true self is not deceived in its source. Your true self is not deceived in its source, and its source is not deceived in its true identity. I like that.
Yeah. Or we could make that self. What do you think? Self or identity? Although source is talking about the source in its true identity. Yeah, I think that kind of works. Self-identity.
It's neat.
Yeah.
Do not then be deceived in your companion, and see only his loving thoughts as his reality.
Yeah.
His reality. Yeah. See only her loving thoughts as her reality. For by denying that her mind is split, you will heal yours. Do not then be deceived in your companion, and see only her loving thoughts as her reality. For denying that her mind is split, you will heal yours. Got it. So by recognizing in that person that her mind is not as one, you are seeing her as whole as you are yourself.
Yeah.
Accept her as her source accepts her. And heal her unto true self.
Yeah. Okay.
For true self is her healing and yours.
Yeah. unto her true self. And I wonder if we should change that. What about show her?
Her true self. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Show her her true self. Because that heal unto, what does that actually mean? So show her her true self. Show her what her true self is. No, that's quite neat, even though it's a double repeat. It doesn't like it, but show her her true self.
Yeah. For her true self is her healing and yours. True self is the extension of perfect love, which is in no way separate from her source. Her true self is the extension of perfect love.
Which
is in no way separate from her source.
No way separate from his father, yeah. From its source.
Because we're referring to
Christ.
True self, yes.
Capital S, yeah. So the idea is that the pure formless awareness has one identity, right? That one identity, that one self, is the self-concept that unites the mind with pure formless awareness. It's the only self-concept that will, you say Christ delivers you unto God. What is that actual concept? Held completely and fully in the mind, will deliver you into the experience of pure formless awareness of perfect love. So yeah. Christ delivers you unto God, but it's a state, it's a self-concept that leads you to a state of mind. And that's where the Christ concept can be quite useful. So instead of no self, which is the Buddhist way, there's no self. It's just pure formless awareness. Jesus is giving us another self, a higher self that only knows love, right? That knows only oneness. That one self knows there's only one Son of God. There's only this one identity that we all share. And from that one identity is the healing of the mind, because there's oneness there. It's the principle of oneness that then brings us into the state of pure formless awareness.
Yeah.
So that's the use of, that's the value of the idea of a Christ or a true self. Whereas in say the Buddhist teaching, they don't have the concept of a self. The Buddha simply said, let it all go and you'll find nirvana, which is the pure form of awareness, without any intermediary self, which I'm not sure is necessarily certainly for a Western mind. That's even more scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, what am I going into? A void. There's nothing there. There's no self. Am I going to not exist? You see. So you said I'm terrified of terrified of pure form. My ego is terrified of pure formless awareness. So this pure formless awareness for the ego is non-existence. It's like the void, and it's terrified of it. It's like, oh well, no, don't go there. Whatever. That's hell. That's what it's telling you. That's hell, because that's ego non-existence, and you exist as an ego, and that's reality, and that's that's your salvation, which is all upside down. But this idea of the true self or the Christ is an intermediary step, ultimately in pure formless awareness. When you're totally rooted in pure formless awareness, then there's no concept of any kind of self. Christ is not ultimately real. But it's a useful idea in the healing of the mind to say, okay, well, there's actually only one self, and everyone is that one self. So I'm it, all my brothers and sisters are it. We all share this. We all share this one self, and that then unites the mind, brings it back into the awareness of oneness.
Yeah.
Which is the value of it as an idea. And so that's why he brings in the Christ from time to time and says, there's this one self that if you identify this, will heal you, and it will heal everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the true self is the extension of perfect love, which is in no way separate from its source.
Whose every thought is as loving as the thought of its source, by which thought of her, of its source by which she was created.
No, so he refers to the it.
Yeah, by which it was created.
Yeah.
Be not deceived in the extension of perfect love, for thereby you must be deceived in yourself. And being deceived in yourself, you are deceived in your source, in which no deceit is possible.
Yeah. I think created needs a bit of, it was extended. We'll read this paragraph again. This is a tricky one, just to make sure we got it.
Yeah.
Be not deceived in.
Be not deceived, the extension of perfect love, for thereby you must be deceived in yourself. Because of being in the one mind with all extensions, sonship, and being deceived in yourself, you use, what's that word? You are deceived.
Yeah.
In
Deceived in your
source, in whom no deceit is possible.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to? I want to read that one from the top. It's
yeah, a mighty one. Ask anything of the extension of perfect love, and its source will answer you. For your true self is not deceived in its source, and its source is not deceived in its true identity. So I translate that as looking past the insanity to in my companion, as their true self is at one with mine, and there is no deception at source. Do not then be deceived by your companion and see only her loving thoughts as her reality. For by denying her mind is split, you will heal yours. Oh, right, that's what it says, yes. See her mind only as whole, and I will heal mine. Accept her as her source accepts her, and so shows her her true self, for which her true self is her healing and yours. Yeah.
How about let's make it, then we don't have a double negative there. Demonstrate to her
True self.
Demonstrate. We've still got a double one there. Demonstrate to her true self. Demonstrate. Was there any way of others saying this without the double? Demonstrate.
Have her see, have her understand, have her.
Maybe.
Have her believe. Help her. believe her true self in her true self.
What was the original? See only as if but mind's mind is split, you will heal yours. Accept him as Father. Heal him unto Christ was the original. And help her believe in her true self.
Heal her unto Christ. Help her believe.
Yeah, well, that's what Christ is. Heal her unto Christ. Well, that means you want to help someone believe in their their true self as Christ. Help her perceive her true self as her healing and yours. But I'm not sure, like, heal unto Christ. Most people go, what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
believing true self is
more practical. However that looks, whatever you show her, demo, if you can help her believe in her true self, maybe that's a word, it's an action. The Spirit will guide you in each situation. Her true self is her healing and yours.
Yes.
So as you demonstrate it to her, then you demonstrate it to yourself.
Yeah. Her true self is the extension of perfect love, which is in no way separate from its source, whose every thought is as loving as the thought of its source, by which it was extended. Be not deceived in the extension of perfect love, for thereby you must be deceived in yourself. And being deceived in yourself, you are deceived in your source, in whom no deceit is possible. So it's like a poem. It's like a circular rhythm.
Yeah, it's quite poetic. I think this is the iambic pentameter.
Yes, it sure is.
Yeah, it's got a certain rhythm to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think our substitutions, our word substitutions, dramatically alter that, do they?
No, I still feel the rhythm of it. The 1 2 1 2 1 2 beat.
It does have its
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah.
And be not deceived in the extension of perfect love, for thereby you must be deceived in yourself.
Yeah.
Deceived in yourself, you're deceived in your source, in whom no deceit is possible. So here's the thing: even if on the level of form, you say this, you say, okay, I'm not going to interact with someone, I'm not going to be in relationship with them. You still don't have to be deceived. You still see them as what they are. They're not ready to understand that. Then you don't hold a grievance. The grievance is, you really did that. Oh, you bastard, whatever, and you're holding that resistance and that negative feeling towards it. If you really let it go and you say, you know what, forgive them. They don't know what they do. I'm releasing myself. Well, you can.
Yeah.
You can go, okay, I've got no grievance. There's no, I can move on. So you got to be very aware of your thoughts and emotions, because a grievance is a block in the pure formless awareness. If you're noticing that block, then there's a grievance. But if there's just a free light awareness, then whatever's happening on the level of form is okay. As long as you stay rooted in that awareness, and that awareness will guide you as well as to what to do, because this is often this principle is wonderful. See only the Christ. Okay, but how do you let's say you're in a difficult relationship, someone is just not. How do you actually do that? Like, how does that play out on the level of form? Does that mean you continue the relationship? Maybe you can heal it. Maybe you can bring that person into the light. That's possible. That's one possible outcome. But it doesn't necessarily mean that is the outcome. People are on very different levels as well in this world.
Yes.
So everyone's on their journey. You can't say that someone should be ready for this.
No.
That's not your. You can't say, okay, well, I'm getting it, so come into A Course in Miracles, learn the truth. You can't say that because someone might not be close to ready for that.
Yeah.
And you can't impose that on them because, of course, that's never going to work. No, you can't impose this on anyone. So, as much as you want to show the person the Christ, they might not be ready to see it. It might be very fearful for them to think of themselves in this way. So you bless them anyway, and you move on. It's like you don't have to, you don't have to convince everyone of the truth.
No.
This is not your job. Your only job is to heal your own mind and let go of any negative thoughts and emotions that you're holding.
Yeah.
And then be guided by whatever way. And you don't have to be unhappy. This is a path saying, no, you're actually entitled. In fact, it's your job, it's your function to be happy. It goes more than you're entitled to be happy. Your function is your happiness. So, that's absolutely primary. If you're not happy, then forget any happy relationships, it's not going to work. You have to get yourself into that right space. And and honor yourself. Listen to that voice that's saying, okay, this is what you need to do, Ayana. And that then gives you the guidance on the practical levels to, okay, well, how do I interpret this in my life to help myself and help others?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to give a little summary of that paragraph?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ask anything of my companion, and its source will answer. Oh gosh, here we go. Your true self is not deceived in its source. Don't be deceived by the actions of my companion. Only see the reality of her in her loving thoughts. Deny that her mind is split. And I'm just repeating it. I wanna
get
that
to
one
that summary
sentence.
of it.
No point in telling you because you know
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck is it? What's the nub of this paragraph? I see myself as whole, and in that wholeness, I see my companions as whole also.
Oh, so if I see them as whole, then I must be whole.
Yes,
And,
exactly. And if I deceive myself, I'm deceived in my source. But that's impossible.
Yeah. So as you see your brother, so you'll see yourself. If you deny the Christ in them,
Deny the
deny the
Christ,
true self in them, then you will deny it in yourself, because you can, so that's how it goes. You can't see it.
Yeah.
You can't deny it in anyone and then not deny it in yourself.
Did I get there in the end when I just dropped the idea of repeating the paragraph again and just the idea?
Yeah. The whole point of the summary is, okay, your own understanding.
See
your
the
own understanding
in my companion, and I see the wholeness in myself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Good.
And there is your healing and his or hers.
I'm just going to shut the windows because it's just got a bit cold.
Yeah, no problem. It's just all right. So number 10.
In the real world, there is no sickness, for there is no separation and no division. Only loving thoughts are recognized, and because no one is without your help,
let's do it here.
the help of God, the help of perfect love goes with you everywhere. As you become willing to accept this help by asking for it. Yeah, what's another word for? Is there another word for help? Oh, leaving that.
I can't think of one. Assistance.
That's it's
I think
help is fine.
we'll just leave it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Help.
As you become willing to accept this help of asking for it, you will give it because you want it. So yeah, right. So nothing will be beyond your healing power because nothing will be denied your simple request. What problems will not disappear in the presence of perfect love's answer?
That's nice. It's got a nice alliteration there.
In the presence of perfect love's answer. Ask then to learn of the reality of your companion, because this is what you will perceive in her. And you will see your beauty reflected in her, in hers. So really this is about me asking for my own healing. I ask for healing because I want it. And I truly, it's my inner beauty that sees the beauty in my companion.
Yeah. Well, if you think about how your mind works, it's so obvious. As soon as you judge someone, you did something wrong. That negativity is in your own mind.
Yeah.
You're separating yourself from your own love and pure formless awareness.
Yeah.
Which then keeps you in that negative mindset. So that's why you only judge yourself and condemn yourself, because you immediately experience the effect of that on your awareness whenever you do that. And yet, we don't realize that. We think that judgment's somehow going to work. It's quite bizarre, actually. Okay, so you want to give a little summary of that?
Only loving thoughts. Only loving thoughts are recognized. I'm asking for, I can see it, but the words I'm really stumbling over them. I understand it in my mind. Just seems such a terrible waste of time, all this belief in unhappiness and separation that's judging and fighting.
Yeah.
For so long.
It is, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's terrible.
The ego is a singularly unfortunate belief system. As Jesus says, this is not good. I think he actually called it a remarkably poor choice as a guide for salvation. The ego. This is a remarkably poor choice as a guide because it's going to lead you nowhere. It's lots of pain and suffering and frustration.
So is it that if I recognize the help of perfect love, which goes with me everywhere, everyone else benefits or receives my help, but I am helping myself because I want it. So is that right? It's circular.
Yeah. As you give, you receive. So
simple. That's what I was looking for. As you give, you receive.
So if you recognize only the loving thoughts in others, then you recognize them only in yourself, and that self that knows only love is strengthened, and the other self that wants to believe in all the separation is denied.
Yeah.
So it's a really straightforward and simple, but to do it requires a lot of vigilance, because a lot of the time your brothers aren't going to behave in nice ways. They're not going to make it easy for you to see only their loving thoughts. They're going to make it easy to see their horrible, negative, mean thoughts.
Yeah.
And so then, your responsibility as the miracle worker is to change your perception of it. So no, this, what they're showing me is not true. It's as simple, but as difficult as that. It's not true. Whatever they believe within the domain of separation is not true. So I can't believe any of it. It's false. It's an illusion. And when I hold that idea that okay, this is simply not true, then I do restore my mind to the truth. And so as you perceive them, so you're going to perceive yourself and God and everyone. Because the mind is whole. You can't actually split it. If you're in the ego mind, then you it feels like you're in there totally, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a big dark pit.
Yeah.
And true awareness is obliterated.
Yeah.
And similarly, if you're in the oneness and the light, then the ego is nowhere. There's no belief anymore in separation. Just to stay in the correct one. And he's saying how you see your brothers, and this is a major aspect of the course's teaching, a major part of the correction process. How you see your brothers is how you see yourself.
Right.
So if you see them as the Christ, the one self, then you see yourself as that. You strengthen that. You see them as the separated self, as evil and guilty and sinful, then you confirm that belief in your own mind that you are that too. That's how it goes. You can't project or extend onto anyone and not believe it yourself. So the ego projects its belief in separation onto someone else and condemns them for it.
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit extends onto everyone and says, we're all one. So we're always doing that. We're either projecting or extending. That's the nature of mind. You can't not. So you have to use it responsibly, that power. So, okay, well, I need to extend it then. I need to extend the love rather than project. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give and you shall receive.
Yeah, that's the well, as you perceive others, so you'll perceive yourself. That's how it goes. And there's no way around that. There's no way around that equation. If you're seeing the negative in them, then the negative is real for you.
Yeah. Do not accept your companion's variable perception of herself, for her split mind is yours, and you will not accept your healing without hers.
Accept. The split mind is yours.
Mm.
And you'll not accept your healing without hers.
Well, it's what I project, isn't it? That she's got the problem, not me.
Hmm.
For you share the real world as you share the kingdom of the state of oneness, state of perfection.
Well, we use perfect love, but
Yeah. And her healing is yours. To love yourself is to heal yourself, and you cannot perceive part of you as sick and achieve your goal. Companion, we heal together as we live together and love together. Be not deceived in perfect love's extension.
it's fine. Where are these extensions? Hmm.
For
Yet.
is one with itself and one with its source. For her split mind is yours, and you will.
Love it, love him, love her. Hear me.
Love her who is beloved of her source. And you will learn of the source's love for you, or love source for you. No, source's love for you. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to read that from the top.
Do not accept your companion's variable perception of herself, for her split mind is yours, and you will not accept your healing without hers. For you share the real world as you share the state of perfect oneness, and her healing is yours. To love yourself is to heal yourself, and you cannot perceive part of you as sick and achieve your goal. My companion, we heal together as we live together and love together. Be not deceived in perfect love's extension, for it is one with itself and one with its source. Love her who is beloved of her source, and you will learn of source's love for you. So see yourself in the other, and don't don't exclude others from healing.
Mm-hmm. Don't accept their variable perception of themselves. So the split mind in them, don't accept that that's true.
So don't accept that a companion's split mind is true.
You don't acknowledge that the split is real or true.
Split is as real or
By
true.
simply going, okay, well, the person might be in behaving badly, governed by the ego and so on, but I don't buy into it. I don't see it as true. As immortalized in Jesus' words, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
Maybe this
They
is
do not know.
This whole chapter is about. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
And then when you do that, then you restore your own mind to an awareness of who you are. And
without judgment of their actions. Yeah,
it's simply, it's an interesting one, this judgment, because you have to evaluate. I mean, this whole path he's teaching us is a path of evaluation, discrimination. You have to determine the difference between truth and illusion. That's a given. Otherwise, you've got no basis for judgment.
That does call for a judgment.
Yeah. So he uses judgment as, in the right-minded sense.
Yes.
Right-minded judgment is the Holy Spirit's judgment. It's the awareness of oneness that says only oneness is true, everything else is not true. That's the judgment. So you see that someone is behaving out of accord with love. There's a judgment there. There's an evaluation to say this isn't true. But that's all you do. You in no way go, oh well, they're now guilty, or they're bad, or you condemn them. You don't dwell on it. You simply go, forgive. And he says at some point in the course, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Doesn't evaluate in any way what they do, other than saying it's not true. You see. So you don't go, oh, that's terrible. The person did this. You go into the details. You're guilty for it. You simply say it's not true. So whether they're crucifying me in Jesus's case, that's kind of the extreme of the lesson. Nailing me to a cross and killing my body in a pretty torturous way, or the person is just attacking me verbally, or they giving me the cold shoulder, or they imposing their will upon me, whatever. Whatever it is, I don't judge it as real. I simply see that it is not real. It's not true.
It's not true, because I have used these words. They know not what they do, and have felt superior, and that's felt wrong, because I know that feeling superior is not not true either. That's of the ego. If I feel
it's simply to see that it's not true, and there's the end of true forgiveness simply says it's not true. So the reason you should let it go is because it's not true.
I understand.
That's it. It's not because you're better than them, you're more spiritually enlightened, you're more awake. All of these self definitions don't really serve you. You let it go because it's not true. And so to hold on to what's not true, it doesn't serve you or them. It doesn't awaken you or awaken them. If you hold on to the false, then you stay unawakened. And so that's the very simple evaluation of the Holy Spirit. Is it true or not? Anything that's loving is true. If it's genuinely loving, it's true. Anything that's not love is not true, in whatever way, shape, or form it happens. So a very simple decision rule, and then simply deny that it's true. Okay, not true. It's false. And so I don't need to react to, respond to, and make real through that reaction and response the denial of truth. I simply see it as untrue. I keep it untrue in my mind, and I maintain my connection with my own source, being pure formless awareness. And that process is forgiveness when you can do that. You simply don't allow yourself to be sucked in to the ego story. and the dream of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so this is
It's a very simple, just don't go there, don't evaluate. It's just not true. There's two categories. It's true or it's not true. That's it.
Yep, okay.
If it's not true, why would you evaluate what's not true and go into the whole story of what's not true? And, oh, well, this is more important than this. This is more serious than this. Because what it does is it makes the untrue true. And this is what the ego is always trying to do. Go analyze the error. Oh, well, look at the error. Oh, there's a degree of error. This error is more egregious than this error. This one's more serious than this. Now we categorize our errors and we put them into it's bizarre what the ego's done. And all of that, of course, justifies the error and makes it real. And, all Jesus is saying is, an error is an error. It's simply true or it's not. See that it's untrue, and there's the whole correction of your mind, without evaluating how, why it's untrue and how badly untrue. There are no degrees. There's no order of difficulty in miracles because there's no hierarchy of illusions. You see,
we better crack on because I do have a very early start in the morning, and we've got another 8 paragraphs.
No, another 4 paragraphs.
I thought it was 17 in this.
No, 15.
15.
So got off lightly. Okay. Did you do a summary of this? Of 11?
Don't believe it's true. Don't believe in the split mind. It's not true.
Yeah. And then simply be not deceived, and love the person who's beloved of her source, and you'll learn of the source's love for you. That's how it works. Okay, so number 11, alternatively, what do we have? Do we have 11 twice here?
We do. 11 twice.
We've got 11 3 times there, but never mind.
God, no wonder I thought there were 17.
Yeah, at this stage, it's like a boxer in the 11th round.
Oh, I feel a bit.
Do you feel a bit punch drunk?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I need to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get through this. We'll try and. It's only 4 paragraphs. Okay. So alternatively, 12.
If you perceive offense in a brother, pluck the offense from your mind, for you are offended by the true self and are deceived in him. Offense in a companion.
Like the offense. So offense is it's American.
Yeah.
Offense from your mind, from your awareness, and pluck the offense from your mind. Yeah. So do we want to change that? Do we want to keep that language? Pluck the offense from your mind, or
let go?
Yeah, I think that's more direct. Let go of the offense.
Your awareness. For you are offended by her true self, or just true self? True self, because it's of everyone, by the true self.
Offended by the true self. Or by your true self. That makes it quite good. You're offended by your true self.
And are deceived in it.
Yeah, well, why do they put a capital there? Why do they put a capital there? in reference to the Christ, you're offended by Christ and are deceived in him. Okay. Kind of get that.
Heal in the true mind and be not offended by it, for there is no offense in it.
Heal in the one self. Be not offended by
It, for there is no offense in it. If what you perceive offends you, you are offended in yourself and are condemning perfect love's extension. Whom perfect love condemneth not.
no. I don't know why sometimes they go into these. He uses an if like an old English. Every now and then one of these words comes in. You're like, why did they put in there? Condemneth not instead of condemns not.
Condemns.
It's like a different. That's old English. Doesn't do it very often.
Condemneth not. It's more medieval English.
Yeah. And that doesn't happen very often, but every now and then he just throws it in, and you kind of like, well, why are you suddenly throwing that in when we're talking modern English here? Most of it's written in modern English.
Awareness of perfect love.
Yeah. Formless awareness of perfect love condemns.
Condemns not.
Or doesn't. Does not condemn.
Yeah.
Very simple, straightforward, to the point. Condemneth not. Like, okay. Let's make it a little bit more difficult to understand.
At the remembrance of oneness, remove all offenses of the extension of pure formless awareness.
Itself, I think, because we're talking about the. So yeah, because it's kind of interesting in the original. He goes, "That's capitalized. God's Son is capitalized. All offenses of God's Son against Himself, and then that's small."
Oh yeah.
And he's referring to the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the caps, the caps in the way they did the course, quite often get it wrong, I think.
Yeah.
Which is, I suppose, understand.
It is.
It's confusing, isn't it? It's like, okay, so what actually is he talking about? On what level? And he's jumping levels in the sentences.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, okay, so what is he actually meaning here? But if you're talking about perfect love's extension against itself, you're talking about the extension of, this pure formless awareness, perfect love. That's capitalized. That's holy.
Leave no one but through its guidance, for it would save you from all condemnation.
And wow, you just like these passages. I mean, they're so powerful. But wow, to actually do this, to actually live this way and say, okay, yes, I accept, and I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to condemn and judge anyone, irrespective of what they've done.
Irrespective of what they say or do, and I'm not going to take offense. It doesn't bother me, none of it.
Yeah, and that's the message of the crucifixion. That was his master teaching. He said, it doesn't matter, even if they're crucifying you, and I will demonstrate it by example. Even if they're doing this, pretty much the worst thing that can happen to you as a human being was done to him, one of the worst things. And yet, I forgive them. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I'm not holding a grievance. So it's a master teaching in forgiveness right there in the crucifixion. And then it's saying, well, if I'm tempted by much less extreme temptations, let me remember that this principle applies, full stop, end of, right? It's like you apply it completely or not at all. That's the equation. So you're either going to do this completely and say, this is the one principle by which I'm going to live my life, or you're going to keep making exceptions to it. Yes, that's a nice idea, but yes, but in this situation, I have to make an exception. And that's, of course, what the ego is trying to always get you to do. Because if you make exceptions, then it's still in business.
And use it for all it sends you, for it wills to hear, to feel, heal. Perfect love's extension, in whom it is not deceived.
Okay, so I'll read that from the top.
Leave offense in a companion. Let go the offense in your awareness. For you are offended by your true self and are deceived in it.
I think that needs a comma. Don't you?
Okay. Heal in the one self and be not offended by it, for there is no offense in it. If what you perceive offends you, you are offended in yourself and are condemning perfect love's extension, whom pure formless awareness of perfect love does not condemn. Let the remembrance of oneness remove all offenses of perfect love's extension against itself, and perceive no one but through its guidance, for it would save you from all condemnation. Accept its healing power and use it for all it sends you, for it wills to heal the extension of perfect love, in whom it is not deceived. So let it go.
Yeah, that's the simple let go of the offense, the perception of an offense, because that offense, then one offense denies love, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If one aspect of separation is real, then it's all real.
Yeah.
And that denies perfect, pure formless awareness of perfect love entirely. So that's why it's an all or nothing deal. Because one offense, one idea of separation splits the mind.
Yeah.
And only this, comprehensive, like uncompromising approach, you have to say. He's like going, there's no exceptions here. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what someone's done. You must do this. Otherwise, your mind remains split, and you still believe in separation. Okay, you want to give a little summary of that?
I did. Let it go. Just let go.
Okay.
Don't be offended by it.
Yeah. Let go of any perceived offense. Really.
Yep.
Your brother, because when you're offended by it, then you split your own mind. But let this remembrance of this transcendent love that's in this person remind you that this is the truth of them, and this saves both of you, saves you from all condemnation. Okay?
Okay.
Happy with that?
Children perceive frightening ghosts and monsters and dragons, and they are terrified. Yet if they ask someone they trust for the meaning of what they perceive and are willing to let their own interpretation go in favor of reality, their fear goes with them. When a child is helped to translate his ghost into a curtain, his monster into a shadow, his dragon into a dream, he is no longer afraid and laughs happily at his own fear. There's quite a lot of talk about children, isn't there? Beautiful child and little child in this chapter.
Yeah, he uses the metaphor repeatedly. So like we're little children having a nightmare, terrified, but actually, if someone they trust, so an adult comes along and says, it's okay, it's just a dream.
Yeah.
And you probably did this when you were a mother. I'm sure you can. Kids have nightmares. You sit with them and you go, "It's okay."
I still am a mother, and I'm trying to remind them of ego nightmares.
Yeah. So it's just gone to a different level. But you remind them of the meaning of what they perceive, then it's not frightening anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's saying. With more understanding.
Yeah.
You don't, these projections, frightening projections of the ego, frightening ghosts and monsters and dragons, are just reinterpreted, and you go, this is not frightening anymore. It's just a belief. That's all. It's a belief. Like the more you see it, the simpler this gets. This is just a belief in separation. That's all. Why am I frightened by belief? It doesn't matter how scary it apparently is. It's just it's a false belief. And if I don't believe in it, then there's nothing to be frightened of. And that's the only thing we have to remember. But in the face, if you're facing down the monster and the dragon, it doesn't necessarily seem like this is just a dream. It's like, oh my goodness, this is real. This monster's real. The dragon's real, and it's really going to hurt me. It could really hurt me and kill me, even though that's impossible. It's just the figure in the dream, but that figure is not you. That's just a character in a dream. So there's no need for fear.
Okay.
That's what he's really saying. So that doesn't really need translation. So it stands on its own.
You, my child, are afraid of your companions, and of your source and of yourself. But you are merely deceived in them. Ask what they are of the teacher of reality.
You, my child. Shall we leave child?
We did leave child.
Did we leave it previously as well?
We had humble. Instead of little child, it was humble.
Yes. Yeah. You, my child. Okay, so we keep the child.
Are afraid
child, afraid of your companions.
And of your source. And of yourself.
Yeah, this is the thing. We're actually afraid of ourselves.
When we were doing the lesson, it seems like last week, but it was only this afternoon. I said, I'm terrified of losing my identity and becoming pure formless awareness. And so much stuff is showing up tonight. I seem to have experienced earlier today. But you are merely deceived in them. Ask what they are of the teacher of reality. And the teacher is the Remembrance of Oneness. And hearing answer.
Should we make reality capital?
Yes, good.
I think so. because teaching you true reality and hearing
It's
it,
not.
and then again to be consistent, because they capitalized this, didn't they?
Oh, really?
I think. Well, let's have a look. Problem and the answer. It's certainly capitalized in the title and the answer.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because it's a title, but I think they capitalized it here. Let's do a little search. Find answer. Yeah. So yet God will not refuse you the answer. There we go.
Right. Good.
Do I want the problem or do I want the answer? Decide for the answer and you will have it. You will see it. So decide for the, I mean, let's be consistent here. Decide for the answer and you will have it. Where are we? Number 11. Yeah. Okay. We're about to translate that. I think you got to, try and be consistent with it.
Mm.
Otherwise, the capitalization just confuses people. Okay, so 11. Do not. Let's just put another space there. Will not refuse you the answer it gave. So this is the one answer of oneness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where are we now? That was 11, so 4. Okay, so we went back there. Let's go back to yeah, okay. Let's go down here. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 13. Done 13, 14. Hearing its answer.
You too will laugh at your fears and replace it with peace. For fear lies not in reality, but in the minds of children who do not understand reality.
Yeah, we'll keep the child thing, I think, because he's talking about child there.
It is only their lack of understanding that frightens them, and when they learn to perceive truly, they are not afraid. And because of this, they will ask for truth again when they are frightened. It is not the reality of your companions or your source or yourself that frightens you. You do not
Yeah.
you do not know what they are, and so you perceive them as ghosts and monsters and dragons. Ask what their reality is from the one who knows it. So, remembrance of oneness, and it will tell you what they are.
I think we can leave it as the one who knows it.
Good.
One.
For you do not understand them, and because you are deceived by what you see, you need reality to dispel your fears.
Okay. I'm going to read it from the top.
You, my child, are afraid of your companions and of your source and of yourself, but you are merely deceived in them. Ask what they are of the teacher of reality, and hearing its answer, You too will laugh at your fears and replace them with peace. For fear lies not in reality, but in the minds of children who do not understand reality. It is only their lack of understanding that frightens them, and when they learn to perceive truly, they are not afraid. And because of this, they will ask for truth again when they are frightened. It is not the reality of your companions or your source or yourself that frightens you. You do not know what they are, and so you perceive them as ghosts and monsters and dragons. Ask what the reality is from the one that knows it, and it will tell you what they are. For you do not understand them, and because you are deceived by what you see, you need reality to dispel your fears by what you perceive.
Yeah. Comment there, and then I think maybe do not understand reality. Capital R there. Okay, so any comments on that?
There's only one answer, only one truth. Ask the one who knows.
Yeah. And then you see through all the illusions, the ghosts and the monsters and the dragons. If it's all just images projected onto a screen, and you're the awareness that is outside of the dream, realizes you can't really be harmed by anything that's going on the screen, then why are you scared? You're just able to observe all these things and go, well, okay, it's just illusion. Even if I'm seemingly the character in the dream facing these things, they're not true.
Seemingly, I am. Yeah.
Well, that's the mind training. If you got to bring yourself into the awareness that none of this is true, even while you're facing the monster, and dismiss it and say this is not true. So again, Yeshua's example to us was amazing. Okay, so I face the monster directly. I'm on the cross, my body's been killed, and I go, yeah, and so and I say, forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they do, as an expression of that. Amazing lesson. Okay, so happy with 14?
Yeah, and he still says, I can see the true love in them.
Yeah. He's acknowledging the source of them and him. He's still seeing that there's only one source, even though they've done this crazy thing. They don't know what they're doing. He still sees beyond that. Which is really all forgiveness is. It's just seeing beyond the illusion of the separation.
Okay. Would you not exchange your fears for truth if the exchange is yours for the asking? Or if pure formless awareness is not deceived in you, you can be deceived only in yourself. Yet you can learn the truth about yourself from the Remembrance of Oneness, who will teach you that. Which will teach you that as part of pure formative awareness of perfect love, deceit in you is impossible. When you perceive yourself without defeat, you will accept
Deceit.
When you perceive yourself without deceit, you will accept there's a little icon over the top of that.
Yeah, the real. Sorry, I don't know how to get rid of these. They just I don't know why they happen.
I don't know
But
either.
Word decides for whatever reason to stick them in. It's like, I don't know.
You accept the real world in place of the false one you have made, and then your source will lean down to you and take the last step for you by raising you unto itself.
So this is the idea. God takes the final step.
Yeah.
Take the last step for you by raising you unto itself. Okay, so we're nearly there. Do you want to just summarize that? Last paragraph.
Drop the fear. Remember the truth. You deceive only yourself. And then you'll see the false world that I have made for myself.
And then this merging into your source, will lean down to you, he says.
Yeah.
I think we can keep that. It's kind of a.
That's cool.
Your source will. How about we say? How about we say your source will merge with you?
Yeah.
I like that.
Nice.
And take the last step for you by raising you unto itself.
Yeah.
Take the last step for you and merge with you by raising you unto itself. By raising you unto itself. Merge with you. There we go. I think that's nice. Read the last sentence.
When you perceive yourself without, and then your source will take the last step for you and merge with you as itself. That's lovely.
As opposed to, and then your Father will lean down to you and take the last step for you by raising you unto himself. It's much more kind of direct.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to read, did you read 15 again, just from the top?
Would you not exchange your fears for truth, if the exchange is yours for the asking? For if pure formless awareness of perfect love is not deceived in you, you can be deceived only in yourself. Yeah, so you're fooling yourself. Yet you can learn the truth about yourself from remembrance of perfect love, which will teach you that as part of perfect love, deceit in you is impossible. When you perceive yourself without deceit, you accept the real world in place of the false one you have made, and then your source will take the last step for you and merge with you as itself.
Okay, what's that last paragraph saying?
Recognize that you only deceive yourself. But then at last, when I do see myself as without that deceit, I will be in a place to accept the real world. And then source will take the last step.
Merge with you as itself. Okay, so
oh my god.
Oh my god, she said. Can you do an executive summary in a sentence or two of the whole thing? The message of the section is that.
What have you done there? The key message of this section is that you must deny the opposite of goodness.
No, that's the previous one.
No, good. Yeah.
No. Key message that was yesterday's. The key message of the section is that.
Oh God. Give up deception. and give up the self-deception, judgment of others, or accept another split mind, I will refuse the healing in myself.
Judging the of feeling offended by other people because this keeps my belief in separation going. Rather see them as their true self and at one with me to heal still my awareness of this same self, heal my own mind, and then this will. So I'm kind of doing it for you, but I think you're fading out, so I don't think you mind. This will lead to the perception of, this will lead me perceive the real world beyond thoughts of separation, allow my source to merge with me in Okay, do you want to read that? Just see if it makes sense to you.
Key message of this section is that I need to let go of feeling offended by other people because this keeps my belief in separation going. Rather, I should see them as their true self and at one with me to restore my awareness of this same self and heal my own mind. This will lead me to perceive the real world beyond thoughts of separation and ultimately allow my source to merge with my awareness in pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Huh? Happy with that?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Now, what's the whole point? The personalized is like, okay, so what's the out of all of this? It's not just theoretical. It's like this is what I need to do.
I know.
An instruction in how you should be living your life. So this is what I should do based on this section. So again, it brings it down to the practical, tangible. Yeah. Okay, so we've read the theory, and in the theory there's some mind washing, because of the way he writes it. It's this kind of, as you say, it goes back and he's circling around and he's saying the same idea in many ways. So there's a kind of a process of mind washing that happens when you do this. But in the end, it's like, actually, it's a very simple message. This is what he's saying. Don't, there it is in a, and you can actually do this with every section because the message is repeated and usually there's one key core message and you can get it down to a paragraph. So,
yeah, I know.
We'll have lots of practice. We've got another 20, 20, 20 chapters to go. So
I know there's lots to go.
Yeah.
All right.
So that brings us to the end of the session. Any final questions, comments, thoughts?
I think that I do struggle with asking for just kindness sometimes, just on that you get that I get that I can see past the insanity of somebody's words or actions. I get that. But then when just simple acts of kindness or are kind of skipped over, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to. I find myself going back into a kind of hard protected, I don't give a fuck place, which is not for my healing. It just doesn't help me. It doesn't help me. I remain stuck and I separated and I have to deal with it.
Well, it's to drop the expectation, you see. This is what it comes back down to. If you have an expectation that someone should behave kindly towards you, then you're going to be affected if they don't.
I don't know if I can. I'll have to sleep on that. I don't know what to say to that.
Whereas if you see, if you totally rooted in the truth, here's the power of this. If you know without a shadow of a doubt that only love is real, and you're so established in that, whether that person behaves kindly towards you or not really makes no difference to you. See, but the problem is you take it personally.
I do.
So someone doesn't act kindly, and then you go, what does that mean? Oh, I'm not worthy of love. I'm rejected. I'm abandoned.
Yeah.
And the little self reacts.
Yeah.
And then you're not in the awareness of a transcendent, unconditional love. It's now the separate self that thinks that it needs this special love in whatever form that it's decided. Okay, well, acts of kindness. We have love languages. Acts of kindness. That's kind of what maybe one of your things. People should act kindly, and then that's an expression of love. And then you interpret as, well, if they don't, then they don't love me. Oh, now I feel unloved, and then the whole I'm not loved, abandoned, rejected, unworthy of love program comes up, and that's very painful. But it's all a response. It's your interpretation of their action that's the problem. Do you see that? Because you have an expectation that this is how it should be, then when it's not that way, you now have a grievance because it didn't happen the way it should have happened. And now that confirms my belief that I'm unloved and unlovable. And the whole thing is an ego setup of note, because it's just taken you away from the awareness of who you really are, perfect love, and it's taken you down into that hellish state of feeling separated and alone and abandoned and uncared for. And that's what it wants to do repeatedly. And so that the expectation sets you up for that pattern, you see.
Yeah.
So if you can just go, like, why should I expect someone to be kind to me? Is that a realistic expectation all the time? No, I know I am love. If I am love, someone can do whatever. Okay, bar like, if they're starting to get physically abusive and so on. Yeah, but you don't have to be emotionally moved by it. Even if someone's trying to physically abuse you, you still don't have to be emotionally moved by it. You could still go, well, okay, that's the person's crazy. They're out of awareness of love, and I have to deal now with apparently a physical threat, and you can then deal with it much more appropriately without the fear. But what gets you is the emotions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what really disempowers you, because you go into that helpless, innovated little self,
Yeah.
and then it feels like a very disempowering, scary,
Yep.
horrible place to be. But you've done it to yourself through your own expectation and grievance. Do you see that? And that's what he's saying here. It's you who've done it to yourself, because it's your interpretation of that person's behavior that's done it to you. You didn't have to interpret it that way. In fact, if you didn't have a little self resident still there in your mind, you couldn't interpret it that way. You could only interpret it as, well, this person it's a cry for love. They don't know what they're doing. They separated themselves, so they've been acting in an unkind way. But actually, that is an inappropriate cry for love. They are actually asking for love, even though they don't know it.
See that?
And so the only response is love, you see. Really, in the true self, the Christ self says, this is a cry for love. So the only response is to love.
I believe I do, and I still see the point about there being a very little self that makes me feel helpless, enervated, little.
But it's a perceptual problem that is based on a false self perceiving the situation incorrectly.
Yeah.
Which then sets you up for the grievance and all of the emotional pain and and all the drama. But it's just, you have a perceptual problem. You perceived that action, which you judged as unkind, you perceived it incorrectly.
Yeah.
And this is why we all have a fundamental perceptual problem, because we perceive these things incorrectly all the time.
Yeah.
We judge it based on our existing thought system of the ego, which sets us up for these grievances and these emotional dramas all the time.
Yeah.
When you can just say, no, I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm not going to be set up for this. I am the Christ. I am perfect love. And it doesn't matter what the ego does, what anyone else does. I am unshakable in that presence. I cannot be moved from it, because I know it as my foundation, as my truth. This is my true awareness. So how can what someone does on the level of form in a dream affect that? It cannot. It's blasphemy to allow that to happen. You are allowing what is untrue to come in and cover over what's true. And only you can allow that. No one can force you. People can do whatever, at the extreme, crucifixion of, Jesus, killing the body. It doesn't matter, because no one can take that awareness away from you unless you take it from yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the whole message of this teaching. It's like, you do it to yourself because you believe in the false self and you have a fundamental perceptual problem as a result. And then you keep judging in this way, and you keep going into the helpless, innovated little life state, and you keep creating a lot of pain and suffering for yourself. And you can change that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
No.
But it is a process. So, it's this deep unpacking, and say, okay, well, yeah, another lesson and another lesson tomorrow. But if you can get to the point where you're going, I'm not moved by this.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what the person does, and then maybe they change then.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can then respond from a point of love and compassion. It's okay, so what's the real problem here? Let's talk about it. You're behaving unkindly, but what's the real problem? Because it's a cry for love.
Mm-hmm.
Really. And so, that's what's going on. But then you can come from that higher place. If you're in your helpless, innovative little life self, you can't access that higher self and approach the situation from there.
Okay.
So I hope that helps.
Yes,
And sleep on it. You've done a lot of work today.
Yeah.
So get some good rest. And no doubt tomorrow we'll bring some new lessons.
Okay.
And I'll see. You're not doing tomorrow afternoon session, because you said you had a creative art workshop.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe see you tomorrow night.
Yeah. Indeed. Thanks very
Okay.
much, Donna. Thanks a
All
lot.
right. All right.
Good night. Good night.
Okay. Namaste.